The last feature is a pretty cool one too. Maps can take a really long time to render because they have all three of the web development languages. So they have HTML, they have CSS, and they have JavaScript that needs to be requested and received by our app and parsed by the browser engine. So this is a whole lot of extra data, and it can kind of slow the process in our app. So it may need a bit more time to load up. So Mapbox has this feature which allows us to sense what kind of device you're trying to render the map on, and based on the device specifications, it picks an appropriate map for this specific device. So you don't have to download huge maps for smartphones or small maps for big desktop monitors. This is kind of cool because on Google Maps and Apple Maps, you kind of have to specify the exact size of the map, so you don't have this dynamic real-time map rendering. So that's a bonus point for Mapbox. Now, I prepared a small list of steps that you need to take when you decide to start working with the Maps API. Firstly, you need to create your personal profile on Mapbox. Once you've done that, you have to find your account dashboard. This is located in your account menu. So, in the account dashboard, you should look for the Create a Token button, and once you find that, you have to go through the setup wizard to generate an access token. Um, this access token will be personal and unique, and you should be very careful where you share that. This token is what allows you to use Mapbox's APIs. So this is completely personal. No one knows about this, so you shouldn't be sharing it across some website where you can get stolen. That's exactly what I'm about to do in the next few minutes because you need to have some kind of demonstration on how to do these things. But you should guard your access token. So when you send a request over to their servers, if this token is recognized, you get the desired content. If not, Mapbox returns an error, and that's essentially it. There's no map. Once you have your access token generated, you can move on to the final step, copy that access token and reference the appropriate documentation to see where exactly you should put it in order to start communicating with the API through this token. We'll see, like I said, we'll see an example in a minute. So this is the place, this is a snippet, a part of my account dashboard. You see the create a token button up here, and this is actually my access token. I created it a year ago, and I've kind of blurred it out so it doesn't get stolen. But um, if you have to use it, use it. I'm okay with that. You have 10,000 requests per minute. I don't think that we can move above that. So use that if you really need to. Like I said in the beginning, I have prepared some resources for you if you wish to get some more information on these topics. The first link will take you straight to Mapbox's website if you're interested in learning more about them and their products. The second link points to Mapbox's documentation about the Maps API. This is actually the document you need to reference when you start developing the restaurant reviews app. It has all the information you need to start working with this API. The next link points to an article about APIs in general. Like I mentioned earlier, it's extremely important to know what APIs are and how to use them. This article is a good place to start. And the final link points to a step-by-step instruction on how to render your first map in your own app. So we'll go through that process in just a minute. And that's actually it for the presentation. Let's end it right here. We won't need that right now. Right. Now let's open up our code editors and try to, or first actually, let's see what exactly you need to do in your own files. So notice that I have the project open here. This is the starter code. And let's run that server so we can see what happens. You enter the command prompt and navigate to the appropriate place that you've put your project in. Uh, this, oops, restaurant master, oops, not restaurant stage 1 master. So that's it. Here we have to run the command python-m http.server, and that's normally all you need to write. But right now I'm gonna run this code on port 8002 just so we don't have some files served to us from a service worker. Now the server is running. Let's open that up. Localhost 8002. And there we go. That's actually it. That's all you're gonna get before you put the appropriate Mapbox token. So here's my token. I'm gonna copy it and put it in main.js. Notice how we have the Mapbox token. This is the string. The guys at Udacity have conveniently put this text here. We just paste it, save the file, refresh the page, and we should see our app. And there it is. That's actually the app. Now that we have our token, Mapbox recognizes it and renders our app. So that's all we need to do to get the map on the page. Let's stop the server right now. We don't need it anymore. Um, like I said, this is very basic configuration and use of an API. So let's actually render our own app. For that, we need to follow a few basic steps. So of course we need to create our own index.html file. Everything begins with an HTML file. I have an extension on here on VS Code, so if I write an exclamation mark and hit tab, I get the boilerplate code you're about to see right now. There it is. These are the very basic things an HTML document needs. Now I'm gonna create a div with an ID of map. This is going to hold our map on the page. And of course, we need a script tag to hold our JavaScript file. So we'll create it in the same directory and we will call it map.js. There we go. And actually, for now, we can save our HTML file. So I'll save it on a desktop in a new folder called demo, and I'll call it index. Pretty popular name convention. So that's our HTML file taken care of. Now we have to grab some scripts off of Mapbox, because that's what's going to get the Mapbox library on our own project. And these two, notice we have the script with the actual Mapbox library. So we have Mapbox GL.js, that's the JavaScript version. And after that, we have a link tag with a style sheet. That's essentially that's going to um, style our map appropriately on the page. So we need to include both of those in the head tag. There we go. And that's pretty much our HTML file done. Um, Actually, let's generate a CSS file. Oops. Let's yeah. Now we will create the style CSS styles.css file in the same directory. Close that tag. And now that's our CSS. That's our HTML file done. Let's move on to the JavaScript file. Oops, nope. Let's JavaScript. Yes, there we go. And now let's write the code that we will need to get the map on the page. So now that we've included the script from Mapbox's site, we have a variable called Mapbox GL, which we can reference, and it's an object actually, and it has a property called access token. And as you may know, this is the token that we generated and used to render the map on the restaurant project. That's what we will need again. Oops, I have not copied it right now. Copy it again. Copied, and there we go. Now we have our Mapbox token passed on appropriately. Now let's create a variable for our map. And again, we have to use the new to render an instance of a class. And now Mapbox GL, the variable, and it has a map function. We call this map function, and that's what gets our map rendered. But to render it appropriately, we have to pass in an object. Here in this object, we will specify the container, which is, as you may guess, the map, the div with an ID of map. Then we have to use um, the style property. Now this is something we have to create in Mapbox Studio. Notice the link here. This is the link to the Mapbox Studio. You click New Style and create whatever kind of map you want, and it will appear here. I have generated this style, and here in the 3 points menu, click that, and you will get the style URL. So it's an easy copy here, and you have to paste it here in a string. There we go. And the center, of course, has to be provided. So let's center it on Chicago. I really like America, so let's use Chicago as our example here. 5, 7. These are the latitude and longitude coordinates. If you don't know those, you can simply go online and Google the place that you want, and it will give you the latitude and longitude coordinates. So that's an array. It has 2 values, the latitude and longitude. And finally, the zoom. We should zoom that so it looks good. There's no right value for that. You just have to experiment. And that's our JavaScript file done, actually. Let's save it. Call it map.js. And actually, all that's left to do now is the CSS file. Specify the type of file, CSS, and here we will just really quickly provide the resets so we don't get any unneeded margins or paddings which make our content look funny. Margin 0, padding of course 0, and the box sizing property will be set to border box. There we go. And now some basic styling of the map ID. It has its position set to absolute. Here we go. Top 0, bottom 0, and width 100%. So that should give us a nicely looking map on the page. Now, fingers crossed that we have accomplished this. Let's run the index.html file. And there we go, actually. There is Chicago right there. You can drag around, see what kind of locations there are. This map is, I think, pretty good looking, but you can also customize it on your own. So let's actually change the location. Remember, all you need to do is go to this center array here and provide some different values. If we set it to 24.74, 21.68, and change the longitude to 42.13, 60.97. Let's see what that will produce. So we refresh. And actually, we get my hometown. I live in Plovdiv in Bulgaria. This is probably very far away from where you're from, but this is my city, so I live somewhere over here. So yeah, that's where I'm broadcasting from now. And that's actually it. That's all I wanted to show you. Um, remove this screen share. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new. Mapbox API is pretty cool. So any kind of API is pretty cool actually to use. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And I guess good luck with the projects. I'm always here if you need me. And I guess we'll see each other next week with actually what will be our final webinar. And that's it from me. So have a good weekend and stay productive. Goodbye.